into this video, I just want to remind you that I'm uploading videos every single day on my second channel, which is linked down below in the pinned comment and the description. And also, we have a private Facebook Muckers group for this community where we are heavily talking about this upcoming series. So if you go click the link, request to join, I will accept you, and it's a party over there. Okay, on with the video. Hi Muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel, and welcome back to 2020, 2019, woohoo! We are back. Unfortunately, we are back. We live in an endless loop of YouTube drama, and it will never end. That's when tears fall from my face. But anyway, welcome back to today's video. I hope you're all doing really well. Okay, so the first episode of the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star new series together has just landed on YouTube. Actually, 30 minutes ago, I watched it on 2x speed, so I've already finished it, and I've written notes on it, and it was interesting. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I don't mean to just sound rude, but I was expecting something a bit more interesting for, like, the comeback video of, like, Shane and Jeffree. The comeback video, which is called The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, because, you know, he's literally, as much as he doesn't want to admit it, he's obsessed with the fact that he gets cancelled every few years because it gives him so much attention, right? I would have thought that there would have been a heavy feature of The Cancelled World or Jeffree. And there was very little of either of that, but we'll still get to everything. But okay, so here we have it. It's literally called The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. It is just shy of an hour long. We have a social blade here on the left-hand side of, like, losing thousands of subscribers a day, which was what was happening to Shane and Jeffree. Then we see both of them here. And I'm just going to get into the notes, but before that, roll this. Okay, Muckers, before we continue with this messy video, I have a really quick story time to let you know. So, if you're aware, I have my Facebook private group for the Muckers, and someone had actually DM'd me on Facebook, and they were a similar age to me, maybe a year or so above, and they'd actually said that they were in college and university in America, and that there were a couple of them who enjoy the videos and enjoy the drama and enjoy the gossip, and I love it and I love it and I appreciate it. Basically, they had put on the wall the following thing: code Adam50 on adamandeve.com, and basically had done the deal, and a lot of them have been, and if I get permission I will post it in the video, but a lot of them have been posting like photos like this alongside the sign. So just to let you know that this code and deal is loved so much that it's now in American colleges. I'm sure the colleges aren't happy about that, but I mean the students are, because the deals are amazing. Basically in, like, the bathrooms of these colleges of people who are like a year or 2 years or 3 years above me, like, finishing their degrees, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate how much the Muckers have been loving this deal. But anyway, yes, this video is sponsored by adamandeve.com. If you go there and use code Adam50, you can get 50% off one item and free shipping in the US and Canada, and shipping everywhere else, by the way, as well. They have 90-day no-hassle returns, 24/7 customer service. A lot of their proceeds going to helping fighting the spread of HIV all around the world. This is their 50th year anniversary. They're an amazing company to stand behind. As you know, I've been loving the loop. Come on, we're all grown here. But my new favorite is this deep throat spray. And whenever I tell you that this shit you don't even want to hear the stories, babe. But yes, I appreciate how much you've been supporting this deal, and if you do use the code Adam50, you will get that amazing deal. Literally 50% off one item on so many of the items, and free shipping in the US and Canada, and also shipping everywhere else for me, the international babes. But also, if you order this stuff and you live with people and you don't want them to know your business, the stuff comes packaged so well, so it's really secure. We're getting to the end of the year. Come on, get yourself a little present for the end of the year. You know, I'll be getting myself stuff, and, you know, my friends will be getting it, and those college babes will be doing the same thing. Yes, for your friends, for yourself, go treat yourself. I don't really get something for your friend. Get something for yourself, that's more important. Sorry. I mean, get some for your friends too, but yourself's more important. Go treat yourself, 50% off, Adam50 on adamandeve.com. I love you, Adam and Eve. And thank you so much, Muckers, for using this code. This is the biggest support of my channel, and all I'm gonna say is I recommend the deep throat spray. I really do. Code Adam50. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with my notes. So again, it's called The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. The video starts with a sponsor, And I can't believe how proud the company must be that are sponsoring a Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star collab. I can only imagine they're beaming with pride. The video cuts to February 7th of 2020 with Shane saying that he's going back to the lab to look at samples for their next palette. So it is confirmed that Shane and Jeffree were going to do a second palette. He says that he's going to document the process and the journey of the next palette, but he's not going to make a series of it because he wants to do it for his own enjoyment, and he's basically recording everything with his iPhone. But it is important to note that a big reason for this also was this was the time that Andrew had actually left Shane, so there really wasn't anyone to film things for him, so of course he's going to film it on his iPhone, but that really isn't addressed. Then it cuts to 2.5 years later, to Shane sitting on his bed saying that Jeffree just FaceTimed him, and he talks about how Jeffree Star is so unpredictable and he can be like a bomb going off. Like, you never know what he's going to say next. So then text on the screen says that this video started off very unplanned, but it now has a purpose, which we later find out towards the end of the episode. Alright, so then there are many in the closet jokes which happen while Shane is in the closet showing off his clothes. And it cuts between that of him showing off his clothes, I'm in the closet, ha ha ha, to footage of his coming out video where he comes out as bisexual from years and years ago, which I don't know if you remember, but is a gag that he literally did in his last series with Jeffree. Like, this is literally something that he did. I don't know if you remember, but remember when they were getting on the plane and Rylan was upset that Shane wasn't bringing him on the private jet, and it was him and Andrew going, and they were in the closet, and Shane makes in the closet jokes, and it cuts to his coming out video then. So there really hasn't been that much originality or creativity flowing within the past few years because the same jokes are being made. So again, it was just kind of like we've seen it before. It's also weird seeing this exact same series with Christopher filming, who's their new filmographer. There really is a lack of a presence from Andrew not being there, and it's definitely felt. I'm not saying that Chris doesn't do a good job, and I actually think that Chris is very attractive, so I like him for that, because I love attractive people. I'm kidding. But he is attractive, and he does a good job at filming, and he got a lot of criticism the first couple videos that he made for, trying to replicate Andrew, and I really feel that Chris has, and I'm not sending any hate his way because I'm complimenting him here, I think he's kind of grown into his own, and you know that the videos are shot by him now, and that's a good thing, and he has his own style now, and I appreciate that. That was something that I gave him criticism for not having at a certain stage, but what I also do need to say is, because we're so used to the Andrew laugh and the way Andrew filmed and Shane's, jokes with Andrew is definitely a presence that you notice is not there. Like, you could take Shane out of this video and I probably wouldn't notice, but Andrew not being there filming, you really do notice. But I do want to give credit where credit is due to Chris, who has definitely improved his filming style and is not necessarily replicating anyone anymore and is just his own person, and I really do appreciate that, and kudos to him. Alright, okay, so Shane says that he wanted to film anything and felt inspired to make another series. So basically another vlog, if we're calling a spade a spade. So he starts with Christopher asking him questions while they go about their day, so kind of like a Q&A vlog style. Revolutionary. And the ending of the video will have a big reveal surprise that he doesn't know yet. So he spends so long in this video telling us that there's going to be a big reveal at the end. But he doesn't know what the reveal is at the time of filming, so it just kind of is like, don't tell us if you don't know. It's really weird. Alright. He calls it a secret exposed, which we obviously know is him hanging out with Jeffree. So because we know that, it feels annoying when we're watching him constantly be like, what's the surprise going to be? What's the surprise? And we're like, it's Jeffree. We know that. I would have cut that out of the video because we do know it now. So we now start cutting back and forth between clips of Shane and Jeffree at the lab and Chris and Shane talking. So it cuts between both of them. Shane mentions his new puppy and the fact that they're going to have a baby soon. So two very separate things. So there's so much of this video is Shane talking about the big reveal that he's thinking about. I've now written that down twice because it just keeps happening and it's so frustrating because I don't like, it almost makes me feel like dumb as a viewer because you're like telling me something that I already know. Even if you didn't know it in the moment, that's just not being a good storyteller. Alright, so Shane says after the palette and series ended, they both didn't want to relax. Obviously, because you both made so much money from it, so makes sense. But they wanted to make a new palette instead because they're so passionate about makeup, which is ironic since Shane literally dropped makeup so quickly after the series and left the entire beauty world. But okay, I'll pretend I didn't know that. Shane says that he's been trying to predict the next 2020 trends to know what would be a successful palette. If only he predicted his career in 2020, maybe this video would have been halted. Alright. He says that whenever he's in public and he loves colors, he takes pictures of them and adds them to his phone photo album to, like, get concepts for a new makeup palette. So Rylan asks Shane if he still loves him, or if he loves him more or before Shane got cancelled. And Shane makes a point to say that he loves Rylan more and more every day, and he loves Rylan more today than what he did last week, and more last week than what he did the week before that. And then Rylan makes a point that, well, actually, we've been together for 6.5 years, so of course I'm going to ask you things like this. And it was kind of just like a, you know, Rylan does get a lot of jokes thrown at him that, you know, they've been engaged for so long, and I feel like that's a lot of pressure that a lot of couples get, and I mean, I kind of feel bad that that happens, and I've probably contributed to it, probably just because Rylan annoys me, because I'm someone who, I would like to be engaged, but I wouldn't want to be married, but there is a conversation to be had about the fact that Shane makes so many public comments about basically wanting to be with a woman, or so many snarky comments at Rylan. So whenever you hear Rylan literally on camera be like, do you still love me? Do you love me more today than you did when you were cancelled? It just kind of comes across a little bit like we shouldn't be watching this kind of thing. By the way, their new puppy is so fucking adorable. I'm so obsessed with golden retrievers and Labradors. Very beautiful dog. And then Rylan says that it's depressing how Rylan used to be popular and how his views are down as well, which is something we have noticed. So many clips are cutting back and forth between Shane and Jeffree picking out shades for the Shane 2 palette. That's what the code name they were calling it. How secretive. All clips are being filmed on an iPhone. Again, this is because of the lack of Andrew. And again, the lack of Andrew is really making Shane and Jeffree seem boring. Like, I think Andrew was so normal that him being included in the clips with Shane and Jeffree was like, he wasn't used to the money, whereas Shane and Jeffree were, so it kind of added more perspective. When you put two rich people in a room together doing something that's going to make them rich, it's really boring to watch, and especially when Shane's filming it on his own iPhone. Just my opinion, though. The shades Scorpio and Cancer are the first selected, and we do get a lot of shade names. So again, what is going to happen, I can only imagine, is, and they tease the name of the makeup palette and how, you know, it really bit them in the ass. So I assume that the makeup palette was called Cancelled or Exposed or something like that. And for all the people that want to know how this is going to play out, they're going to do a lot of episodes talking about the palette that could have been, but we got cancelled and we're the victims, whatever like that. So much so that their audience will then be like, but we want it, which again makes the audience feel involved in the process. Then the last thing, I would assume they'll release this Shane 2 palette. That's how it's going to work. There's a moment between Shane and his lover, which happens, not Rylan, by the way, Cheeto, the cat. But all jokes aside, it was good to see a Cheeto update. Cheeto looks like a little Garfield, and I love ginger kitties. I have my own, but he is not as fat as Cheeto. No shade, because I love ginger kitties that look like Garfield. So funny how when they're coming up with makeup shade names this time, they're not using like Tanacon or Trisha or something like that, because everyone has dropped them. Like, they just have to come up with their own shit this time. Oh god, they have to be creative. Heaven forbid. Shane says that Ryland is documenting the surrogate process. By the way, it really is just kind of like different topics, so if this sounds like I'm cutting from different things, that's how the video flows. Shane says that Ryland is documenting the surrogate process and that they might have their baby by next year. He also says that they want twins, which is a scary thought. Shane says that they'll never show the baby's face, which, again, is something that every single YouTuber says, but I kind of believe Shane when he says this. Now, Shane doesn't say this in the video, but he does say that, you know, we would show like its leg or its arm, which is weird, just don't show it. But this is something that Shane has talked about years before. He basically said that, like, because I'm so hated, obviously the way the internet will work, people will make fun of my baby, and I don't want to subject my baby to that. Ryland is the complete opposite. Like, Ryland wants to make like content and stuff and documenting. So I do think that they will end up just showing the baby and becoming like a family channel and blah, 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 blah. Especially Ryland. The same way Trisha is, and they're just now saying that we would never show the baby, then they get pregnant and they realize it's an endless stream of income and then they do it. So I'm not even going to give them credit for that. Other shade names are called Pig's Heart, T-Hab, and other ones that I got bored to list. So then they go to Ryland's childhood home and all of his family are there. Bruce, who is Ryland's dad, says how California is such a nasty place because of what they did to Shane Dawson because they cancelled him. Bruce, babe, that wasn't just exclusive to California, I'll tell you that. So Shane says that he's no longer scared to say the wrong thing when filming content anymore, which again, if you remember, is what he says every 2 years after he gets cancelled, and then that bites him in the ass every 2 years. Just, how about we, censor saying wrong, inappropriate things? What about that? That's not about cancel culture, that's just, that's stuff that people don't say. He says he doesn't care, he's comfortable online now, and he's deleted the news app from his phone, and that he doesn't watch any videos on him. That's two very different things. Deleting the news app from your phone just means that you're not partaking in knowing what's going on in the world whatsoever, and that's a very privileged thing to be able to say, but not watching videos on yourself, I understand. So then Ryland's mother says how, she pulls Shane aside, and she says how during the Jeffree series, everyone called it a money grab, and that he was exploiting the community of makeup, and that it was, let's get rich out of this thing, and that's what people thought it was. She says that this was wrong, and this was a genuine passion project for Shane, and a plan, and this was not, a planned thing, and she's confused as why Shane's never addressed the rumors. So she's basically like, this was something you were passionate about, so why do you let people say that this was a money grab? Sorry, Ryland's mother, it's hard to imagine that this wasn't a money grab when the entire focus of the series was $20 million! We're gonna outsell James Charles? We're gonna outsell all these people? Come on. However, Shane does address this. Shane says that he overhyped the money part of the series, which was a mistake, which was nice to hear. But he goes on to ruin it by saying, if it was a money grab, I would have so many other money grab things that I would have done by now. Which isn't true, because in the series, he talks about how he's gotten fucked over by every single brand that he's ever worked with before and how he's so broke or whatever. So that's not true. It's alright to admit that this was a money grab. We see it now after a couple videos ago. Remember I read out the leaving the circus beauty community world? It's alright if you don't care about makeup anymore. We know that you force yourself to like it for long enough to have a palette. But again, we're in that cycle again of you pretending to like it enough so that you can sell this next one. Because again, remember we've been talking about on Snapchat, he's been suddenly interested in makeup again for the past 2 months. Woo! Who's shocked that they're coming out with another palette? Not me. Because we already predicted this. Shane says wait. Sorry, I'm reading this. And I remember them saying it, but it just sounds so stupid to have to repeat out that I almost don't want it. Almost would make me be like, wow, how stupid do I think my audience are if I'm going to read this out and be like, do you believe them? So I'm not gonna. But it's basically just along the lines of it's not a money grab just because I made a lot of money. I was actually really passionate about it and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get it. I'm not even going to read this out because it just is so cringy and we know the truth. But anyway, Shane is basically saying that he actually was so in love with makeup and it wasn't a money grab and he didn't care about the money at all. He briefly mentions Andrew, though, not by name, but by saying that his partner at the time got 25%, trying to make it a thing that he actually didn't take all of the cut of the money, which people knew, but, you made the series so much of, how rich you were going to be. Oh my god, I've gotten fucked over by everyone, I'm going to be a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. Come on. By the way, the reason that he's talking about this is because he says that he didn't make enough money to retire, so... Do you hear that fucking wind? It's wind and rain. It's fucking deranged. Shane says that the palette, the new one, so Shane 2, was finished in terms of the shades, but not the actual design of it. Due to the cancellation and COVID, they never released it. So Jeffree agrees to allow Shane to show the palette, and for both of them to meet up at the ranch face-to-face discussing everything. And then the video ends with them on a plane, and it just kind of fades to black. One thing I will say is Shane used to be really good at making a cliffhanger, especially when it came to Jeffree or whatever. This one just kind of ended. I understand we're oh, they're gonna go to the ranch, but they didn't tease anything. It just kind of was them on a plane for 5 seconds, and then it goes to black and a Spotify song plays. It was a very abrupt ending. The video definitely felt very rushed. So I'm hoping that there's 3 episodes. I'm hoping the second and third are a bit better than that. Alright, what I think is going to happen, they're going to sit down, they're going to talk about the palette, they're going to realize they're in love with it, they're going to talk about cancel culture, they're going to say blah 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 blah. The palette's probably called the cancellation, cancelled, exposed, drag, drama, blah blah blah, something like that. I can't imagine they would call it Shane 2. And they will probably release the palette, and then this will be another, you know, series talking about making money and blah 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 blah. Or sorry, they will make money from this series because of the palette. That's the natural way I see this going. I wonder what you think of it. Let me know. We'll talk about it below. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Also, make sure to use the code ADAM50 on adamandeve.com. I appreciate you watching this video for 50% off, 1 item, free shipping in the US and Canada. Second channel's linked down below. New videos there every single day. And also, the Facebook group for the muckers is down there. Go request. I will accept you. I love you. Let me know your opinion on this. We will go through all of these as they're released. I will be on it, and we can talk about it. Okay, I love you, and bye. Mwah.